very nearly about something September 2025. My name is Paul, welcome aboard. Now last month I managed to do things really last minute and only just get a video out in time because I like to get one out a month. This month I managed to do something quite spectacular. I'm going to get one out early, but I'm still last minute because what I was going to do is I'm off for a trip with a friend up to the Trough of Bowland, Forest of Bowland, that lovely bit of countryside that nobody's quite sure whether it's North Yorkshire, which is what I think it is, or North Lancashire or South Lake District. It's just a little magic place in the middle of nowhere, and we're going out, fingers crossed, with good weather in October, September, October. And that's the problem. See, I thought I would cover that one in this video, but I'm not actually going to get back until the end of October, and I'm not going to take a PC with me, so I can't edit it. So I thought I'd dedicate this channel to my lovely Honda CB250N Superdream, which is going, I don't mean it's going as it's running, because it runs beautifully, as you'll know. I did lots of work on it. But I was about to make a decision. Do I do a nuts and bolts restoration and really make this thing look nice and do the engine and do literally everything? Or do I sell it? And I'm selling it, but the sad thing is, when I was looking into it, for the first time ever, I actually checked the numbers on the VIN, on the registration document, and they didn't match up. So I contacted the DVLA for advice, and to be fair to them, they've done as much as they possibly could to try and find out if it's possible to see where those numbers came from, the VIN number and the engine number, etc., and see if they could in any way get it to match up with the registration, and it just doesn't. So the only option they can give me is for me to re-register this as a new registration, new bike, on a Q plate, and to be quite honest, it's not worth doing it. So I'm going to sell this for scrap, or I'm going to take it to pieces and sell it for scrap, which is very sad, but you know, when I bought it, I didn't expect to be riding it. I bought it as a bit of nostalgia, and I'm not a nostalgic person, because I was around when and working in a Honda dealership when these things were launched. So it's sad, but I know that there's a lot of good parts on it, because certainly the engine and the carburetors run like a dream, like a super dream. So, and I've covered the seat and stuff, and you know, for the last year really, I really shouldn't have been riding it. And what I was going to do today, had things worked out better, is I was going to ride this to the Dover Motor Museum, where they've had their open day, and I've just got back from it. So what I'm thinking at the moment is I'll get rid of this, somebody will use the bits and pieces from it, and hopefully their Super Dream will need a nice engine, or will need new forks, or will need new shocks, or will need new chain and sprocket kits, or will need new braking systems, blah blah blah. Because next year I'm obviously going to keep the Himalayan, but I fancy a bit of a project, and so I was looking around to see if there were any good projects that I could get involved with, you know, sort of bikes that I fancied, and there were plenty. And interestingly enough, a lot of the bikes were kind of from the era when I first started biking, which was sort of 76, 77, 78, 1976, 1977, 1978 for younger viewers. Not that there are any young viewers to this channel. And I had a connection with all of them. Luckily I'm not a particularly sentimental person, so I won't get something and do it out of sentiment, but it was very interesting. So let's have a look, and I only had my smartphone with me, and I'm not particularly good at using it yet. So let's just have a few clips from the classic show that they had. Right, so this is a bit of a coincidence. That's a Triumph Trident. When I was 17, I had the chance of buying a second-hand one for 800 quid, which is all I could get on HP. What I really wanted was either one of these or one of those, which was the Yamaha XT500. I ended up getting the DT400 MX, which I did love, but yeah, don't know. Perhaps I should save up and get one of each of these. Right, so this is definitely a possibility. I really want to get a motorbike and sidecar. That's a Yamaha XJ900. I used to have the 650, it's shaft drive, I think it's perfect for this. That is a Watsonian I've forgotten, I'll ask, a Monza I think sidecar, and I think that would be perfect. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I could get an XJ, do it up, and then stick a Monza on it.
Yeah, we went down on the Saturday. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. No, this is the bike of the show so far for me. And this is an aerial Arrow, I think. I can't remember the names of the other one, but it was the first Airfix kit of a motorcycle I ever made. It's gorgeous. Look, two-stroke. Right, so this is another option for a project, because when I went to university back in 1980, I was surprised that I got a tax rebate and I could actually afford one of these. And for whatever reason, I decided that eating and paying my rent was more important, so I didn't get one. But they are wonderful, and Honda 4s are absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, 554, that could go on the list. Right, so when I was 16, this is what I wanted. Famous flying banana, Pooch. Couldn't afford it, so I got a green Pooch something else I'll find a photograph of. This is gorgeous. I do know where there is one of these that needs restoring, and that is tempting. No, I'm not going to tell you where it is, but this is lovely, and I've heard it started up, and it's just, yeah. As a 16-year-old, they changed the law so you weren't allowed to ride motorcycles, but these things were huge amounts of fun. So again, when I was working at the motorcycle dealership, we got one of these in exactly this colour. I didn't get to ride it, but a customer was interested in buying it. So me, as the person who joined very recently, this is back in 1978 I think it was, I had to sit on pillion as he tested it around Oxford and around the ring road very, very fast. But you know what, it was a hoot. If I could find something like that, that would make a good restoration project as well, but I don't know. It would also make a good sidecar donor. Right, again, 1978, worked for a Honda dealership, which was also a Triumph dealership. And this had come out the year before. It's the Bonneville 750, but it's to celebrate the Jubilee. And it was one of the first years where local councils were allowed to do lotteries. And Abingdon District Council had a lottery, and the first prize was one of these, and I didn't win it.
That must be 77.
And it's for sale
It says 77 on
for nearly 10 grand. God, it was a lot cheaper than that then. I think it was about £900 back in 78, but it's lovely. Right, I did used to have a 750 version of this, which was absolutely lovely, and the dealership refused to adjust the tappets because they were too complicated, and you basically had to spend a whole morning or an afternoon doing the tappet. It's so complicated. It's a V4, absolutely lovely bike. Hayabusa 1300 with a sidecar. To be honest, if you put wings on that, it would probably fly. That is something else. Right, so that's a more modern version of my CB250 Superdream. Oh, important announcement.
2025 raffle draw. Tickets.
Oh.
Before I start, I'd like to introduce Blue Mirror, who many
Right.
people know.
Now I do have a raffle ticket, 5 of them. Let's see
She's not blue today.
in a couple of minutes if I win this. And this is next year's prize, which apparently has only done 150 miles. Yeah, not sure about the where that was made and how it was made. It's got the AJS name on it anyway. Fair enough. It says it's an AJS, it's an AJS. So there we go. So which one of those might I choose as a classic restoration? And I think I'd probably get, so I will check the numbers, by the way. We'll check the V5 and that the numbers add up. And I would kind of quite like to do a full restoration, a real nuts and bolts one, rather than the idea with this Honda was to get it running to a point where it looked used, it looked you know, it was not a rat bike quite, that it was pretty smart in terms of the way it ran, but it wasn't pristine condition. But I don't know, I do fancy the idea of a sidecar. I used to have an XJ650, and that XJ with a sidecar, that did look nice. Who knows? Anyway, so hopefully next time, if I manage to take my camera with me, I'll show some glorious shots of the Vale Borough of whatever it's called, Trough of Bowland. Obviously if it's terrible weather, I can't see anything, there'll be no point. But see you in October. Cheers.